Hello, good morning, viewers, and welcome to Today on ACNN, your trusted window on trending updates, mechanism, sports, and the stories shaping our world. We are going to be challenging perspective and breaking every form of stereotype just to bring you stories that are anchored on integrity, guided by truth, and viewed through the lens of faith. I make emphasis to that again through the lens of faith. Oyo State remains the boiling point of major conversation across the media space regarding the cases of insecurity in Nigeria with the recent abduction of school children and their teachers still yet accounted for more than 1 month after their adoption. The governor, Shea Makinde, recently declared a 16-hour curfew in over 10 local government areas in Oyo State. This curfew is expected to last from say 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. starting from today, being the 24th day of June 2026, for an initial 48 hours. How far can this go in ensuring the rescue of the children is a question and a leap of many, I repeat, many Nigerians. Good morning once more. I am Godwin Ojiri, your anchor. But I'm definitely not alone in the studio. With me are two beautiful ladies who would be co-anchoring the show with me. And I have from my far left.
I'm Chinedu Blessing. Good morning.
All right. Good
How are you
morning,
doing?
Blessing. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
You're welcome.
All right. Another middle we have.
Promise Njoko Adibe. Good morning, Godwin.
Good morning, Promise.
Good morning,
Good
Shini.
morning.
And good morning, viewers out there. Thank you for joining us.
All right, viewers, there you have it for my two amiable co-anchors in the studio. And we are also not just doing it alone. We have joining us virtually from Abuja to do justice to the issues we have this morning. And we would be having joining us Honorable Israel Sylvester Amone, who is a politician. Honorable Sylvester, good morning and welcome to today on ACNN TV.
Good morning, my brother. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much for finding out time to be with us this morning. All right, viewers, remember you can be part of this show by calling in the number showing on your screen and also by sending your comment via various social media platforms. But first, we will take a look at some select newspapers headlines that came in this morning. And to start that segment of the show, I would allow Chinedu to anchor it from that point.
Okay. With me is the Punch newspaper. And looking at the Punch newspaper on page 7, we have the National Democratic Coalition. Nadeko rejects Abu Salami's claims on Abiola military rule. And the major headline on the Punch newspaper on page 2 says Senate votes today as Tinubu transmits bill to National Assembly. The kickers are ex-security chiefs split over expanded power for governors. We also have Senate set for historic votes as Akpabio rallies lawmakers. And President sends constitution alteration bill seeking creation of state police. And on page 20 of the Punch newspaper, we have US blacklist Nigerian firms over ISIS funding. We also have on page 7 OOUTH paralyzed as doctors strike over unpaid allowances. And on page 22, we have Nigeria spends 5 times more on debt than health, education. And on pages 4 and 5, we have police intercept 47 sacks of military uniforms in Lagos State. And finally, on the Punch newspaper, we have adoption fair. Oyo NUT rejects school resumption. You get that on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. Back to you, Promise.
Let's quickly take a look at the Guardian. The Guardian newspaper there, the big story there, US sanctions expose terror financing amid growing security threats. And that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Okay, you see the picture story there. Beside the picture story is actually an INEC commissioner in charge of Lagos, Oyo, and Ekiti states, handing over the return tickets to the governor of Ekiti state. Then beside the picture story there, Obi, Serap, Gani Adams, Ejimako fault Sowore's detention in prison. And that story is on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Largely partners firm on 6,000 megawatt power supply target. You find that story on page 5. And on page 7, El-Rufai to file no case submission as DSS closes alleged wiretapping suits. Okay, below the picture story there, on page 6, on state police, Akpabio pledges swift passage as Senate reviews constitution. And on page 3, NDC emerges main opposition in Edo as APC PDP lawmakers defect. And on page 3, Edo monarch orders native doctors, water princess, orders to curse kidnappers. That's on page 3. Wow. Okay. And quickly, let's look at the Daily Global. The Daily Global story above the masthead there, US deports Nigerian after domestic violence, other convictions. And then the big story, US releases identities of Nigerian firms designated as terrorist financiers. That's very, very huge. And then beside that, IGP Desu prohibits unauthorized social media activities by police personnel, directs strict compliance. It's been long overdue. Okay, below the big story, wait for elections, don't speak for Nigerians. Ologun wants Obi over call for president's resignation. And the last story I'm going to be taking on the Daily Global is on Operation Whale Smoke. Maritime component issues safety advisory to mariners and riverine communities. Okay, that's all we have on the Daily Global newspaper. Godwin, over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Promise and Chinedu Day. And we would be going straight to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And the Vanguard is leading with this. It says US global anti-terror action. US crackdown on Lagos-based ISIS financier and BDC operator. This story can be seen on page 5. And when you hear the word BDC, it means Bureau de Change operator, just as the kicker have it there, with address in Agege, Lagos State, and Kano linked directly to ISIS West Africa action taken under US executive order. And we also have the kicker there that says 3,224 targeting network in France, Turkey, Syria, and Nigeria. This is indeed a big catch, and we must give the credit to the United States government there for helping to track down this illicit financial flow of terror. And then we also have on page 26 School abduction. Makinde imposes 16-hour curfew in 10 or your local government over security concerns. And then also we have just above the Vanguard masthead there. It reads, Tinubu writes Senate seek constitutional backing for state police. And this can be seen on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then on page 7, we have Lagos explosion. Police dispatch particles to Abuja for forensic analysis. Wow. And then finally here we have Tinubu receives AMSG leaders, and then it reads local petrol production hits 48 million liters. This is coming from the federal government. And it says there in the kickers, says petrol import bill drops from 2.3 trillion under 90 billion naira. Okay. All right, viewers, there you have it on the front page of our newspaper headlines. And as we would encourage you, you will get yourself a copy of all of these papers that we have read out to you and follow through with the conversation. And very quickly, we'll be moving on to looking at some of the headlines as captured in the front page, and as well also having them to discuss with you. And like we have urged you earlier, you can be part of the show by calling in the number showing on your screen, and also by sending your comment via various social media platform. We would do well to take them and help you relate to these issues in line with our conversation right here in the studio. All right, we'll be moving on very, very quickly, I must say, and a whole lot of issues are at the front burner. One of it this morning is that of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, writing the Senate to seek constitutional backing for state police. We would say, for me, I would say it is a step in the right direction, but at the same time, I would want to ask, just like I promised earlier said, are these things not long overdue in a nation like Nigeria? Honorable Sylvester, I would be starting this conversation with you this morning, looking at the issue of state police and the Senate meeting today to have their discussion as regards this, possibly pass this bill into law. And we are asking ourselves in the studio here, is this not long overdue? Is this something that should even make headlines in the first place? So what is your take on this?
The issue of state police and it has been making text in its long overdue. You know, we live in a country where when trivial things, what trivial things, because we are in 2026 and there are goals set for this millennium. But already we live like we're in the areas of analog. State police shouldn't be an issue. Shouldn't be. It's up to been done like for over 30 years now also. Or 20 years ago when we finally embraced democracy, because we need people who know the terrain, who know their locality to do justice to security in that area. But however, with the advent of a new industry, the kidnapping industry and banditry, I think it should make headline now because this is the time we need the state policing more than ever. So it is fine if it is making headline, but right now it is really, really needed.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Still staying with you. Thank you so much for that comment. I just want to ask, do you think if this bill has been passed into law and then states now have the sole right to form this formation of state police, do you think as a people, as a nation, we are prepared for what it takes to have this institution in our state presently?
Um, while we look at the merits, we also have to look at the merits of it. I would say Nigeria as a nation, we are not prepared for state policing because uh, there are no reforms yet for the Nigerian police force. We see them while you were reviewing the daily newspaper. We saw, what the IG of police uh, imposed on officers serving, staying away from social media and all of that. And uh, since yesterday or Monday, we've seen how in Port Harcourt, how policemen mount roadblock without authorization. So if we've not been able to reform the one we had, we are now introducing the local state police. Because I use the word local because it will be run by the community, by the state government, whom I think it's going to be more. In fact, the merits of the state police, we are to weigh the merits because in Nigeria at the state levels it is always politics. You hardly find a state in the country that 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 you don't see internal politics destroying the states. So with the introduction of state police, I think it will be worse, but it will also have some merits like securing the locality, curbing banditry, and preventing or bringing a bit of security to the people. But I just hope with this that there will be reform or supervisory body at the federal level. No, it shouldn't be at the federal level because it will solely be operated by the states. So there has to be a lot of reform. But for now, I think uh, let's not flood, let's not wake a sleeping dog. Let's just leave it there. Let's see how it becomes a reality. When it comes to reality, we begin to talk about the issues that will follow it.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Sylvester, for that comment. I don't know if any of us have any more questions.
Well, he talked about the demerits, and I actually agree with him. Apart from the politics, there's going to be a high level of power abuse, especially by some state governors and maybe some other prominent people in the state. You know, a whole lot of abuse of power is going to come to play. Let's just watch it. It's part of the demerits of state policing. But as much as possible, if we can, you know, check out all of these boxes, then we can make better informed decisions. Because like what he said lastly, let's leave it. When we start the state policing, we'll check. I don't for me, I don't think that's the right way to go. I think you should check the pros and cons before you dot your i's and cross your t's. Because if you start Nigeria, it's very easy to start something. Ending it is quite difficult. ending it is very, very difficult. So if we're to start state policing in Nigeria, we need to know what are the laid down rules. Nigerians have are to be consulted because our lawmakers don't know it all. We need to know the laid down rules. Who are those to be recruited into this state policing? Is it repentant bandits that we're going to recruit and then legally give them arms to guide, the people they terrorized earlier? Who are the people? Is it the local vigilantes that are going to now be converted, to be the ones to take up arms? These are things we need to check. And then who do they answer to? Who do they answer to? The governor, the commissioner of police, the inspector general of police. Who exactly do they answer to? These are things we need to check. And then um, um, it is also very, very important that our leaders should also know that this state policing is not for the benefit of them, the leaders. State policing is for the people. So let's not see, oh, they've approved state policing, and then instead of the police in the state guarding the people, safeguarding the people, they are busy guarding our top shots and their family members. I hope that is not what we're going to see, because of course a lot of policemen out there, we saw those carrying handbags for Oga's wife, not even Oga's wife, exactly. So let it not be so that instead of the state is funding and with taxpayers' money funding these individuals, and they are there serving a select few. I hope that doesn't happen. In fact, the merits, like our guest said, they actually outweigh the merits. But then, let's see how it goes.
All right, thank you so much.
I have a question for our guests. You know, we have different states, and usually there are some states that claim that they are poorer than some. And so the training of those persons, I guess there will be variation in training, there will be variation in resources that will be given to them, there will be variation in weapons that will be given to them. So, how will states or how will the federal government tackle this to ensure that there is a uniformity across board? That's one. And then the second question I have for you is, when it comes to this state policing, there are some crimes that might lead some of these criminals to enter into another state. Now, how will the state police of a particular state manage it? That's what I have for our guest.
All right, Honorable Sylvester, I believe you got those questions.
Yeah, I got the question.
All right.
The first question says, it said she asked how will foreign states fund their recruitments and the level of arms that will be given to recruits, right?
Yes.
Uh, I think for this institution about to be set up, it is also the federal government that will fund it. Because every state, what makes Nigeria a federated state is each of the states summed up Nigeria. So there is no state without the federal government. There is no federal government without the states. So it will be the duty of the federal government to fund these institutions, the state policing. And who will supervise this institution? The Nigerian police force will still remain. So I believe, as a higher institution to the state police, the Nigerian police force will be the ones to train them. And before I answer the second question, let me the first commentator, the lady, she highlighted the merit and merit of the state police. Through this, I'm afraid that we are not ready for this state policing. But it is however needed. She said we should talk about, before setting it up, we should talk about the pros and cons. Yes, in every organized nation, you should talk about, you should have your laws, your constitution, your 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 map, your road map laid down before setting the foundation for anything and for everything. But however, in the case of Nigeria, if you look at the Nigerian police force, it has been in existence since the time of before amalgamation. When the white came, when they came in 1914, there was police. When we got independence, then it was reformed. And if you see the Nigerian police force, we've been struggling since 1960. We've been having one issue or the other. And why have we been having these issues? Because of poor supervision, poor enforcement. I don't believe that Nigeria, being a country, the largest black nation in the world, that every black nation look up to. I can't believe that in this 21st century, you still have police mounting roadblocks without authorization from the appropriate authority. And this is one of the ways that these bandits they operate. You read in the headlines just now of how a huge military uniform was intercepted in Lagos. What will they do with this uniform? To mount roadblocks. So this we need to do more. We need to do more before introducing institutions. Taking it to the Senate to get approval, it is good. But have we been able to call the ones we already have? The answer is no. And then for your second question, what is the second question again?
How will they manage boundaries? The state police, how will they manage boundaries, especially if crime enters into another state?
God bless you. Thank you. I think this state police should have been more of border guards rather than policing.
Okay.
It should have been more of border guards because this banditry happening in the country. If I've been opportune to speak with security men and non-security men. I've been opportune to speak with people who are from the far north. We brand a particular ethnic group that they are the ones involved in these crimes going on in the country. But if you look at it critically, these people are foreigners. They are foreigners. I don't believe before this insecurity started in 2006, before Obasanjo left office. I don't believe that I haven't lived with a neighbor, I haven't lived in a community for a long time. I don't believe there is so huge a profit I will make from it that will make me chase people from my community, that will make my community uninhabitable for the people I live with. This can only be done by foreign bodies. It can only be done by people who are not interested in communal living. So I think state police should be more of border guards, not roadblock, and collecting money from commuters. They should be taken. State police, each of them should be taken to the border of their states and mount proper guard. That is where they will be effective. Because if they bring them into the community, they will cause more havoc than more havoc like we are seeing with the current Nigerian police force.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable Sylvester, for those apt analysis there on the burning issues that we are discussing, especially as regards to the bill that would be assented or passed or discussed, however you want to put it, in the red chambers today, coming from the president. And this is an issue of the state police. And moving on very quickly, we would be looking at a very troubling situation. And this is coming from no other, from a man who is now being remanded in, I think, Kuji, pending the passage of the ruling is being held accountable for. And this is no other person but Showore, who is now saying that the kidnapped Oyo school children have been moved from Kaduna, have been moved, sorry, to Kaduna, and yet DSS have abandoned this rescue and they are focusing on the critics of the present administration. Honorable Sylvester, please help us make sense of this.
Well, what sense can I make of what is happening in the country where you see bandits make videos, public videos, make phone calls, video the profits they make from kidnapping and all of that, stockpile money and make video for us, and yet you can't track them. But someone who sits in his room to criticize the government is quickly fished out. I don't think there is much sense to make from this, rather than to say if the government are not aiding these bandits, if they are not aiding these terrorists, there would be an extinction in 24 hours if the government does not have a hand in it. In 24 hours, they will bring them out. Because, tell me, what's his name? There is this young guy who criticized the Nigerian military for
Justice Crack?
Underfeeding Justice Crack. Yeah. The soldiers. One guy criticized the Nigerian police. He was fished out in less than 24 hours in Far Buhari Area Council. So I believe that if the Nigerian security outfits are ready to end banditry and insecurity in the country, it can be done in less than 48 hours. Just like the late General Sani Abacha said, suddenly insecurity that lasted more than 72 hours, that know that the government has an hand in this. And I am taking from that clue that what is happening now, allegedly, though, the government has an hand in what is going on.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I just want to ask because only yesterday or a day before, the governor of Oyo State, in person of Shema Kende, has now imposed 16-hour curfew in over 10 local governments because of the security concern. Now, given the personality of Showore, we understand he's an activist, and then he is coming out to allege that these school children and their teachers are now being moved or are now moved from Oyo Forest to Kaduna without any intelligent backing to that or proof of fact. Should Nigeria take his word as a fact as regards this issue? If not, why then would the governor still be imposing a 16-hour curfew? Do you see this as solving any issue, or does it say anything as regards to Showere's statement?
In my own candid opinion, I think the curfew is coming late.
Okay.
It is coming late because when the first batch of teachers and pupils were kidnapped, why didn't the governor impose that curfew then? Is it now that the thing has gotten out of hand that he is imposing the curfew? You know, we live in a system where we don't value time. That is why you can be you can be on your way to work or going to somewhere important, and either the police, the Nigerian road safety, they can delay you for hours. But if we are living, if we were to be in a system where time matters, we wouldn't be, imposing curfew in a state like Oyo State, where where Oyo State is an industrial state. So imposing 16-hour curfew on the state will affect the economy of the state too. And it will affect the people. There is already enough hardship in Nigeria and in all the states to add curfew to it. What I think needs to be done is for the security outfit, for them to sit tight, and secure our community. The curfew we do little or nothing. And to tell you that the government knows what they are doing. The former Minister of Power's sister and two kids were kidnapped some moments ago. And within 72 hours, they were released. Why were they released? Because they are the who of who in the society. And funny enough, when I saw where they posted the kidnappers, they were kept in a good flat. But the school children and the teachers, they are in the forest. They've been moved from Ibadan, where they were kidnapped, to Kaduna. They've been in the forest for how long now? Nobody cares. The curfew will do nothing. The curfew imposed, it will do nothing. It's just suffering the those that are doing well, the political elite, those who are stealing from the state and from the country. The curfew will not affect them. Right. It is a common man who goes to checkpoint to sell water, to sell gala, to sell granuts, to sell bread that the curfew will affect. But for them who have access to the state's treasury, it will not affect them. All right. It's quite unfortunate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Whether you shape it right to make it left, it is the poor that is always affected. All right, thank you so much. I believe my uncles in the studio have other things to say, but promise, coming to you now, I just want to ask, because this is a coffee, just like you said, will affect an average or your state indigent day. You are imposing a 16-hour curfew, cutting away the productive life of your people in the name of curbing insecurity. Meanwhile, the routes to which these bandits, if we are to take the words of Shore serious, you will discover that they don't pass through roads. There is an interconnectivity between forests that leads to state borders and the rest. And yet you are putting a curfew within 10 local government. Could this be informed by an intelligence report that we don't have, that the governor have? Or should we now say the words of Showori could be correct in this sense, that these children and their teachers have rightly been moved from this forest to Kaduna State?
Well, I can't really say if there is any intelligence that the government has that we don't have. Of course, what do we know? We actually don't know. We've actually known almost nothing of what they have. But like our guest said, this coffee for me is not necessary. It's actually coming very, very late. And it's each time we talk about Oyo, my heart breaks. It breaks for those little children. It breaks for their mothers. You know, I feel so pained when I saw that story of Showore saying these children have been moved to Kaduna. I the first thing I told myself is, if this is true, then we have failed as a country. We have failed woefully, because can the DSS and other security agencies explain to me what they are doing in court, mounting checkpoints and all of that, while these children are being moved? That is, if truly they have been moved. If they were moved, what route were they taking through? We have security checkpoints everywhere. Does it mean they pass through our security checkpoints? and they were allowed to pass with these children? Were they airlifted? What is the aviation doing about it? So if you check it anyhow you want to look at it, whether by road or by air, definitely they must have encountered one or two security checkpoints. What happened in that period of this encounter? So for me, I think the governor, I expected that by now these children should have been released, because I knew we talked about it here last week when VDM and his supporters went on a protest, and the governor assured them, we watched that video here, that in a few days these children will be back home. This is the middle of another week, and we're, instead of us hearing the story of these children being brought back home to their parents, being reunited with their parents, we're hearing that they've been moved to Kaduna. And the worst part and the most annoying part, where I say this government is really disrespecting the sensibilities of Nigerians, is that nobody has come to say anything. Nobody is coming to debunk what Shawari have said. Nobody is coming to say, oh, that's what we had, but we're working on it. Nobody is actually saying anything. So the bandits actually have freedom to do whatever it is they want to do. And it's quite sad. And I'll still ask the same question I asked in the studio yesterday. Are Nigerians now to resort to self-help? We've seen, I read one in one of the papers, I was one who read it, where I think the Edo monarch, who called on all the witches, water priestess to curse the bandits, to curse kidnappers and all of that. Is that what we are resorting to? Is that really what we are resorting to? Sunday, Igoho gave an ultimatum of 2 hours. And guess what? The people that were kidnapped were released. Is that what this government wants Nigerians to resort to? Are they sure they can handle the anarchy, the aftermath that will come after that? Please, our government will expect better, please. Governor of your state, please bring those children back. I want you to assume these children are your biological children. Would you leave them for over 5 weeks with strangers? You don't even know the health condition, the state of mind of oh God, I don't even just want to imagine.
All right.
Well, I stand with the guest, and I also stand by promise that the curfew is it's not even necessary, because it's something that would have been done the first week. In fact, the day it happened, the next day there should have been a curfew. And these bandits, from reports that we've been having, they don't fly on the road.
Exactly.
I guess they move through bushes. And it's sad, but I want to stand with Shawari that these children, there's a possibility that these people are no more in Oyo Forest. I don't even know where they are. I'm not even sure they are at Kaduna. We don't know where they are, but the issue is that I'm not sure they are still in Oyo State. That is what I feel, because this is like, how many weeks? This is 1 month already. More than a month. And these bandits, they don't just operate and stay on one place and be waiting for you. I guess they send their message and they are on the move. So I'm not sure they are still, I don't know. I wouldn't know. But putting this curfew you're putting, is it for indigenes of Oyo that are living in the forest, or that are living on? Because as we all hear, these bandits, we don't see them flying on the road. It's usually in the bushes. So the curfew, I don't think it's necessary.
You know, Godwin, I think it's in Imo State, where we heard that some kidnappers came to kidnap some people, and then the youths went after them. Or your youths, what are you waiting for? Can't you borrow a leaf from that? Organize yourself. If you have to see, these bandits, their strength is in their numbers. Believe me, their strength mostly is in their numbers. Or your youths, please, let's stand up. These are our younger ones. These are our children, our nieces and nephews. We can do better.
But
All
there's a
right.
height of fear amongst Nigerians. So I don't know whether.
For how long do we keep being afraid?
It's obvious that we are tilting towards self-help, and when that comes, anarchy seems to be looming.
Exactly.
We pray we don't get there. Honorable Sylvester, I learned you want to say something on this.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. The lady that said Oyo should stand up and defend their community. And she said that their their strength is in their number. Not entirely true. Have you seen the kind of weapon carried by these bandits? Even the Nigerian military, the Nigerian army, the Nigerian soldiers, air force and navy, they don't have the kind of weapon these bandits carry. They don't have it. So resorting to self-defense is difficult for all of us because you want to carry cutlass against a man carrying a sophisticated weapon.
So would you rather they keep killing and keep maiming and raping our women and children? So do we sit down and allow them do all of that?
No, I am not wishing for that. I am not wishing for that. What I am wishing for sincerely is the Nigerian people to rise up against the government. The government knows what is going on. We all need to stand united, whether you are Igbo, whether you are Hausa, whether you are Fulani, irrespective of where you are from. We cannot fight the bandits. But the government, we pay taxes. It is with our taxes that they run the country. It is with our taxes they pay the Nigerian police force. It is with our taxes they pay the Nigerian soldiers. We all need to resort and come together and hold the government accountable because the government knows exactly what is going on with this banditry. Telling the Nigerian people to see food. I don't entirely believe in the state policing, but that is one of the importance of the state policing. If they don't bring politics into it, because they will be licensed to carry weapon. And if they are licensed to carry weapon, they know the terrain, they know their community better, then the state police can defend the community. But telling a civilian who don't know how to handle the weapon other than cutlass to stand against terrorism is bad. We need to rise up against the government and hold the government accountable. The problem we're having in this country is let me simply put it that it is a problem of accountability. The government is not accountable. Today, you see Bayo Onanuga playing politics. What didn't Tinubu criticize Goodluck Jonathan? In fact, they literally carried placard, they carried coffee, telling Goodluck Jonathan to resign. Now Obi has spoken up that Tinubu should resign. Why are there issues with that? And again, let me add, the issue of Igbo is not an hero. Igbo is no hero. That is a script. I think what is happening in Oyo, the federal government or the federal government wants to vindicate Igbo as against Nnamdi Kanu. But that is a subject for another day. Because what is the crime of Nnamdi Kanu? It is the same thing Nnamdi Kanu cried for, a Biafra. If Nigeria is not working, let us go on our own. Igbo also cried the same cry. If Nigeria is not working, let there be a Yoruba nation. Today, Nnamdi Kanu is incarcerated and Igbo is working free. Then Igbo just gave an ultimatum of 24 hours and people were released. That is a script to vindicate Igbo. The pure script. See, the Nigerian government knows what is going on. And the only people, we don't need to rise up against banditry. We don't need to rise up against insecurity. We need to rise against Igbo, for everything. It is for the people. Government of the people for the people. So in a government where the people have no voice, it means there is no government. So we need to rise up. But to say we should defend our community with what exactly? With what exactly?
All right. Thank you so much.
I would have really, I know our time is fast, but left to me, I would have really asked him, rise up against the government with what? Those who went for NSAS, how did they end? Those who went for better Nigeria, how did they end? Please, let's go on to the next segment. I know our time is fast, but you have your time. You have your time to talk about this.
Let me just say this.
Okay.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
I was very active in NSAS, but NSAS was disappointing because 1% of the Nigerian population did not turn out. 1%. NSAS shook the nation. NSAS went viral, went abroad, but 1% did not turn out. That was why they were able to muzzle us. But what I'm saying is, every Nigerian, wherever you are from, if we all come out today to say enough is enough collectively, we will overcome these people.
That is the
we will overcome them.
That is the big if.
But you know, we are living in fear. And like I mentioned,
I love the fact he said if, because that is the big if, and we know that if it's never possible. Not with the crop of Nigerians.
All right, we're actually short of time. If not, I would have asked, how do we conquer if?
Exactly.
If have now become our fears. All right, viewers.
Something happened in Nepal. Okay. Something happened in Nepal. That should be the if. What happened in Nepal needs to happen in Nigeria.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Sylvester. There you have made the show this morning quite it, and we sincerely do appreciate you for staying tuned with us. We would be taking a breather now. Where we return, we will be going to our trending story segment. Please don't go away. A whole lot is still on the front burner for you. Welcome back, viewers. If you are just joining us, this is Today on ACNN, and we have been discussing a whole lot of burning issues that is affecting us as a nation. We are present in our next segment where we would be looking at some trendy stories that stories actually trended within the week and has gotten a whole lot of traction across social medias and has sparked conversations across various platforms. And one of which would be that the Inspector General of Police have bars officers from unauthorized use of social media accounts, especially the likes of TikTok, Facebook, and other platforms. And the catchy point here is that he threatens suspension and salary forfeitures for officers that would default. And also we have a video to take, and that is a video of the Rivers State Police Commissioner who confronts officers for alleged blocking of the state highways. So which would be otherwise known as illegal roadblocks. We'll take a breather and then we'll take a watch of that video.
Why are you blocking the road? Why are you blocking the road? You didn't hear the IG said they should not be blocking road again? For any reason. If you have to walk here, you have a vehicle, you have park and slow down vehicles. Why are you blocking the road? That's why I'm not asking you whether you have stopping truck or not. Why are you Why is the road blocked? Are you the most senior person? Who is the most senior person? How many of you are here? You are not sure.
We are 8 in numbers here.
So where are they?
Our commander is not around. I want to call him.
Where are they gone to? Get these particulars. Come and clear this road.
What is your name?
As the IG never come here once to tell people not to block put blockage on the road.
was said before, I spoke with my commander.
He didn't tell you not to block the road?
No, this one, I spoke with our commander, then our commander explained to him that we are stopping only trucks. We are not here for any.
Why are you blocking the road? If you are stopping truck or stopping the, why are you using these things to block the road? Get his details. Tell your commander they should remove all this blockade. Okay?
Let me have your details.
All right, so welcome back, viewers. That video is actually very, very funny, I must say. And it's not a situation that we would say as Nigerians we are not used to. For those that travel the length and breadth of this nation, we understand how funny the situation is across the length and breadth. I sincerely, especially within the eastern and the southern parts of Nigeria, a whole lot of stop but not to search. A whole lot is happening. And I tell you, if we were to carry out investigative reporting on this issue, viewers, you would find funny scenarios that plays out when even we from ACNN here travels to other states. I have witnessed this firsthand. We are falling victims in a whole lot of times to not just the blockade on the major highways, but what these officers do when they block the highway. I will leave that because I believe you already have or know the details of why these things are happening. But we want to commend the Rivers of the CP of River State for that work there. It is highly commendable because indeed we can no longer tell whenever we are traversing the highways of Nigeria who are actually genuine policemen and who are kidnappers waiting to take away their victims. So thank you so much, sir, for that effort that you and your men are putting in there. But this is a conversation, promise, and Chinedu, that we really need to look at. But before I come to the studio, let me first ask our virtual guest, Honorable Sylvester. First, I want to know what state you're from, and if this practice, these roadblocks are happening in your state.
It is happening everywhere.
Okay.
It is happening everywhere. I'm from Delta State.
All right. So, in as much as we are commending the IG for this very laudable initiative, the highways on a norm or in developed climes, we don't see it being packed. In fact, if you even see the things that these men use in blocking these highways, they are laughable because they would just get a trunk of wood or a fallen tree, drag it into the road. There are no designated markers to say you are coming closer to a police checkpoint and the rest of it. This is what every Nigerian that plies the Nigerian highway face on a daily. So what is your take on this?
Well, I've had this experience so many times, and I think to change the system, to develop Nigeria, to bring about reforms that will change, that will affect this country positively, is not something that is difficult to. It is one of the easiest things. But because people are benefiting from it, that is why they are, like I said, lackadaisical about it. That is why they don't want to act. And again, why should a policeman who should secure the state, secure the community, go and mount roadblocks? One time I was traveling from Warri, Delta State to Lagos. The checkpoint I saw I think there were more than 50. From Warri to Benin, I saw about 7 or so. Then from Benin to Ore town, from Benin to Ore town, it was more than 30. And on one of them, the experience I had, because for me, I, you know, he that comes to equity must come with a clean hand. I don't have anything I'm hiding in my skeleton. So whenever I'm traveling, I'm always very happy when I see security personnel around. It means there is security presence. But the problem I had is the manner with which they block the road. Like you said, they will bring in dead trees. They will bring in tires. And most of these trees, they are highly chemically, their composition is high hydrocarbons. And when trailers or vehicles run over them, over time, they begin to hit the quota because of their constituent, because of the compound with which they are made of. So it is also the police join in destroying the road that government budgets money for every year. And if we were in a developed climate, there should be designated roadblocks. Not even roadblocks, there should be designated checkpoints. Roadblock is different from checkpoints. And these checkpoints, because the government does not care about the security outfits, that is why they are not providing for them. Because you are traveling at night, you will see a soldier sleeping outside. Yes, they are not supposed to sleep, but there should be an umbrella, there should be a shade, there should be something to show that security presence is here. They should build a hut for them. But what we have is roadblock, a sack and stone that is stacked, and make one caricatures thing knocked over them. And because these people I'm not giving excuse for them. Most of the reasons for this checkpoint is not to stop vehicles and check them. They don't even check. They don't check. They only check when they want to victimize you. Or they check when you don't play by their rules. You don't give them maybe the 200 or 500 they are looking for. That is when they will stop you, park you, ransack your car and all of that. So I think we need to do more. We need to do more. And I also know that because I have a lot of friends in the Nigerian police force. I also know that police have many units. There are units that go on monitoring the activities of other policing. So that the commissioner of police in Rivers State came out with camera showing us that it's working. It's not enough. It still needs to do more. There are people in that unit that monitors the activities of police. The commissioner should not tell me that he is just seeing roadblock for the first time, except he is new to the Nigerian police. He shouldn't tell me that.
All right, Sylvester, thank you so much. I just want to ask because there's this thing that is we are used to in Nigeria. In front of cameras, we act as though we are working. Do you see this as something that is sustainable?
No, it is not sustainable. What it is, a lot of Nigerians will ignorantly applaud him because he brought it to the camera and is on social media everywhere. And also because it is not something other commissioner of police do every day. But like we've been talking of reform, there are laws in the Nigerian police that set up some police officers to monitor the activities of police across states. Why are those units not active? Or they've been turning blind eyes on it while their colleagues rob the commuters and Nigerian citizens? So it's not sustainable, my brother.
All right. Thank you so much. Promise. I will be coming to you now because I want to ask this out of, say, personal experience. I can remember a production we were coming from, say, Naked Diocese, and we were on a convoy with a bishop's wife who was in another vehicle coming and was in our front. Just, I don't know if you know how, I think after Onsuka, the OP roadside, the way the roads are curved and a whole lot, where you could hardly tell of the next checkpoint. And you don't even know who you are meeting at that point. So this bishop's wife's driver have to beat one of the checkpoints because even the vehicle she was in was branded like a government vehicle. And the driver left, we were following at the back. Not knowing that these policemen were giving a hot chase. it was so serious. They were giving a hot chase. And the hot chase took them to use the new road that the government is trying to do, only to apprehend we and the bishop's wife at the extreme end, close to P Junction. Now, the worst part of this case is that they took us back to where we were coming from, simply because they have mounted a roadblock that they assume was beaten by a driver. And one of them even threatened to say, what if I have shoot? You get, this is the situation an average commuter faced in the Nigerian road. What would be your take on
Godwin, the truth is, it's quite sad. This is our reality in Nigeria right now. The stop and search and all of that. You're even talking of those traveling. Have you gone to Area 1 under the bridge at night? Say from 6:37. Have you gone there? You need to see the massive traffic being caused
I think
by.
same happens also in Bega on that bridge. More than 10 hillocks parks there.
So the question is, what are you people searching? They're not searching anything. And that is why, I don't know, they might say, oh, we're doing it for your own good. When we stop and search, we stop. How many kidnappers have you caught? Because they have so shown themselves that they're after the money. When anybody is passing, they just squeeze whatever. And the moment you give to them, you move. So how would you know if that person that gave you that 15 naira is a kidnapper carrying victims in the car? But kudos to the CP in Rivers State. See, it's just like what Mr. Sylvester said. Okay, maybe he just did it for show. He did it he carried a camera. For me, whether he carried a camera or not, you see this thing he did is right. And if every commissioner of police can borrow a leave and do this same thing, then let's see if Nigeria will not be better. You know, the more we keep putting them down, the more we keep saying we don't see what they are doing, the more they feel they are not, they are not appreciated, so they rather not do. But let's appreciate what he has done. Because for crying out loud, can you tell me, this young man said they are 8 in number that were mad, and he said, oh, they are after trucks. You're after trucks, and you're delaying people going to work, you're delaying people going for their businesses, you're delaying people maybe going to the airport to travel, knowing that the aircraft will not wait for anybody. And you say you're doing your work. Have you gone to Gwagwalada? As if you're going to the teaching hospital. It's not, it's just so, I wonder, what are you people searching? And like our guest said, most of the time when they stop you, it's because they want to victimize you. Not because they're actually searching for anything. Okay. It's quite sad, and I think the Inspector General of Police should come harder on all of these checkpoints, because there are times when we hear, oh, the Inspector General of Police have given the instruction, no more roadblocks and all of that, but we still see these things popping up as if the instruction. So who is fooling who? But whether they are fooling, I don't know who, the right thing should be done. Earlier you talked about the Inspector General of Police buying officers from social media, TikTok, more especially Facebook and all of that. Well, if we look at it in two ways. First, I think being in the military, they also have their lives to live. So I think he can bar them from talking about the military, the office, their work. because of course there are, you and I, there are people who want to interview and they tell you, sorry, the policy of my organization is not allowing me to talk. Do you understand? But not to say, oh, you can't post anything on your social media. You can't, for somebody who is a Christian, you can't post a prayer. You can't encourage people on how to be better Nigerians. I don't think that's proper. That's like caging them completely. But talking about their line of duty, no, it shouldn't be allowed. But then I think it still goes a long way to check and balance some people. So I just want to round off by saying we have a whole lot of bad eggs in the Nigerian police, but that does not take away the fact that we have good people. We do have good people in the Nigerian police, but just that the bad eggs are overshadowing, because come on, all this collecting of tips on the road. We watched the video here in this studio where one was saying his oga, you knew they were videoing him and he said, my oga knows say I dey here, they do this work, and if the money no complete. We watched it here now.
No, even in this one that we just watched, you imagine the infantry you have telling your CP that you are here for trucks and not, have you not become a road safety officer?
Like, I don't understand.
That is there for truck. And it seems that even the CP himself, despite the fact that I've commended him, understood the gravity of that statement. That I'm here for truck and not for smaller.
What are you looking for in a truck? Yes, we know you might have information. If you have information, move swiftly, do your job, and can't we borrow a leaf from advanced countries? How many police in advanced countries? Oh God.
All right.
I want to come from another angle.
All right.
The angle I'm coming from, the guest said that I want to assume that the CP is just doing this because of the camera. However, it's high time that Nigerians need to get to this point in our lives where we say, let me be a solution to the problem, no matter who is looking at me or no matter who is not looking at me. You get? Now, if you look at that video, or if you listen to that video, there was a time the CP's voice went high, and then he went to a particular point and said, hey, you should not. So it's not like these people don't know. Those people over there, they are the ones that send these policemen. If you hear reports from some of these policemen, they say the Oga at the top send them. But it is high time Nigeria, it's not just police. Not just, this is one person. Okay, what happens in the offices? What happens in offices where they also, for each table you go to, you must submit something. For your file to be processed, when you go to the secretariat, you must give them something. No matter how much. So it is high time that Nigerians get to this point where we do the right thing, not minding who is doing the bad thing. And then we should also have checkpoints, not roadblocks. Checkpoints that have sophisticated cameras that can look into these vehicles without the policemen stopping the vehicles. Now, when they are able to look through these vehicles, I don't know whether they call it infrared, but there's a way they scan these vehicles and they're able to get contrabands and see bandits and terrorists and whoever that is inside the truck or car.
Thank you so much, Nedu. I quite agree with you. Especially with your comments where you said, how did you put it again? Is it giving something and the rest of it? On that note, I think we would watch another video, very interesting one. This time we would go.
You keep saying interesting.
Yeah, I have a whole lot packaged for you. All right. This time around, we're going across the shores of Nigeria. To our brothers in a land I would describe as a xenophobic land presently, the land of South Africa. And then just take a watch. I will make a whole lot of sense of it when we return.
To hear you say, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
We see the good thing you're doing. And we are just pleading to fast track it. Now that is a valid message.
Mr. President, thank you. Thank you, President. Thank you for what? Thank you for what? Malawi's government are steadily taking their people home. Zimbabweans are steadily taking their people home. Mozambicans are steadily taking their people home. Our people are asked to leave their homes and come here to be lifted. They sold the little things they have. Their house rent here is monthly. It's not like Nigeria where you pay yearly. They pay house rent here monthly. And so people have told their landlord, bye-bye, I'm not renewing my rent. And they have moved, only to be stranded here. And then you are telling us to thank the government of Nigeria. Why would we thank Mr. Tinubu? For what? They ask people to come out. Even if you have not asked Nigerians to come out, we will find our way. Yeah. But you ask us to come out on winter, women and children on winter, and they are here stranded. And the politicians are there in Nigeria, arguing and satisfying themselves. And these people are left here with no hope. And you are telling us to tell Mr. President, thank you. What are we thanking you for? We sent you to go and do the job there. And if you feel that you can't do the job, resign. So that somebody who can do the job will fix Nigeria. A small country like South Africa is holding us ransom because our government does not know what they want. So if Tinubu cannot fix Nigeria, which we have seen, he can't fix Nigeria at home, he cannot help Nigeria in the diaspora. So why do we say we have a government? Then he should resign and allow people who can be able to, because he applied, he begged to apply. He said, please, elect me, and I'm going to save Nigeria. You are elected, and you are doing nothing. Plane that has been arranged, and people have left their home. Then we are stranded here, and you are telling us to thank you for making us to be stranded. Whereas other African countries are already taking their people home.
Honestly,
right.
I can feel this man's pain.
Sincerely, I am lost of words. And he said something that is striking. Small country like South Africa is holding the giant of Africa ransom. I want you to say thank you to Mr. President. Okay. Honorable Sylvester, I have to hold myself because there are certain things you would listen, you would watch, and it will change your mood and everything that has to do with you, even while watching and being in the studio. This is coming from a Nigeria in South Africa. This is a request also coming from an envoy of our government. You get all of this playing out. All of this playing out. So maybe before you comment, I would want you to also say thank you, Mr. President.
You know, it is sad. It is sad that we don't know what we are getting ourselves into as a nation. You know, you see a madman on the streets and you refer to that man as a madman because he has lost his senses, probably because he's also naked and dirty. But the primary reason why referring to that man as a madman is not because of his look or because he has lost his senses. It is primarily because he has no home. Because if you have a home, you have a roof over and over your head, nobody will see anything wrong with you. Something we all don't understand. And this is why I will keep calling on Nigerians that coming together is a necessity. It is a necessity because we don't have any other country other than this one. I am very passionate about Nigeria. Why am I passionate? I am passionate because I have had opportunities and I still have opportunities to leave this country. But I can't leave, particularly when I am now in the age of being aware. If it will be my days of secondary school and my early days in the university, I would have said, okay, let me leave. But gradually now, I'm building something for myself. I am not fully awakened that I have no other hope other than this place. And it is quite unfortunate. South Africa has a population of 65.5 million. South Africa is about the size of Lagos State and Ogun State. Not as big as Lagos State and Ogun State combined. And I think the population of the urban area is about 51.7%. And it is the urban area that you have foreigners. So, and the economy of a nation depends on the urbanization of that nation. So I can tell you that it is foreigners that give South Africa their source of livelihood. Let's not go to apartheid. In the early 90s, we all know that when Nelson Mandela left prison, he was exiled here. He lived here. And one of the wives of Nelson Mandela testified recently that the first ever passport she owned was a Nigerian passport. We've heard other nations talk good about. See, Nigeria is the giant of Africa. It is not painted. When I was running for election in 2023, and in 2022 in the preparatory process, I happened to meet an old man of he was 86 years old then. The man who has traveled the world. He said he was 23 when he received the flag of independence for Mozambique. Till today, that man still gets royalty from Mozambique. Nigeria is not just giant in picture. We are the giant of Africa. We are the giant of the black nation. Now, it is shameful. It is pathetic. It is appalling. And use any vague words that you can use for one envoy representing a nation to gather adults who, because their nation cannot provide for them, went to seek greener pasture somewhere else. It is shameful to gather them and begin to play politics after they have built businesses there, built homes there. Instead of moving them home quietly, knowing the pain in their hearts, you are telling them to thank Mr. President. Thunder will fire that envoy. I'm sorry to use this word here. Do you know the pain of building something in a foreign land? The president of that nation don't pay you, but rather you pay tax heavily. After building something, probably some of them, they build companies, they build industries, they build factory, they have multiple properties there. Their children are in school there. Do you know the pain of after building all of that? And one person tell you, you are foreigners, come and leave our country. Instead of the president of Nigeria to move Nigerians off that nation quietly, just like Ghana and some other nation did. One idiot is saying, tell Mr. President, thank you. This is where I have problems with most of these people. If justice had been served to that woman, the moment she was saying, thank Mr. President, I believe a lot of us will learn from it. I believe we will learn from it. It is pathetic that we play politics with visually everything. With everything. What did the president do that they should thank him? That Ghana has moved their citizens for about a month ago, and now you're moving Nigerians. In the course 2019, yes, 2019, this same xenophobic attack happened again. And now this is 2026, it is happening again. Instead of you to move your citizens out quietly, you are saying, thank Mr. President. Thank Mr. President for what? For what exactly?
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Sylvester. Dear, it's obvious that emotions are high, and I just want our viewers to excuse some of those words you actually use in the course of speaking. It is as a result of heightened emotions, which we here in the studio rightly understood. Who do I come to now? Promise.
Godwin, I rather not say anything. I've not been able
Same
to put
here.
my emotions into words, so I rather not say anything.
I also don't have anything to say because I don't know.
All right.
It's sad.
It is sad indeed. And that is where we have found ourselves as a nation. That is where we have found ourselves as a people. Our people are out there stranded. All they want to do is find closure. And the closure can only come in coming back home to their motherland, which is Nigeria. And then you were given the responsibility of doing this. You gather a whole lot of persons and say thank you to Mr. President. We'll leave that for now and then look at one that also affects us, but I would say is a good news in its sense. It's coming from a country that works, and this time around it is working on our behalf. I wonder when we will get it right. And this is as regards the fight of terror, the global anti-terror action, where the United States have cracked down on a Lagos-based ISIS financier and Bureau de Change operator. Now, I understand that there is a collaborative effort between the Nigerian Intelligence Agency, the Nigerian military, and also that of the United States, and also with Great Britain there. All of these are working hand in hand to ensure the safety of life of both their citizens and also Nigerian citizens. So we truly thank God for this, but it still begs a question about our level of intelligence preparedness. So, Comrade Sylvester, I would be coming to you on this. This is a good one coming from the US. But how comes a whole lot is happening in our backyard, and it seems as though a nation that is 1,000 miles away are the ones capable enough in helping us to track down all of this?
There's not much to say on this. There's not much to say on this. If you remember, I think early this year or late last year, the federal government of this nation published some names behind the sponsor of insecurity in the nation. Like I said earlier on, the government know the people, knows the sponsors. That the United States of America is coming out to name some of the sponsors is not new. The government of this nation already did earlier on this year or late last year. And like I told you, and like the late General Sani Abacha said, that any insecurity that
Sylvester Day, truly there is no much, but we would still want to commend the intelligence of the United States, because having to name all of these things, it's a headway in achieving success in the fight against terror worldwide, and especially as it relates to our own condition in Nigeria. All right, very quickly, I just want to give our viewers a head up as regards the World Cup games. Truly, we are launching into the next round, which would be the rounds of, do I use the word, the Big 32 there? And it's a knockout stage, but a whole lot of matches were played before that. I just want to give you a heads up because a whole lot of persons, due to the lateness of the match, have not been following through. And then we have it. First of all, we have the likes of Portugal doing it there big time, coming from Cristiano Ronaldo there, who have delivered quite well for his nation. And Portugal played against, I think, Iran, if I'm not mistaken, there, against Pakistan, they're giving them 5-0. And then also we have England playing against Ghana, which actually end up in a draw there. And then also we have Croatia playing against what is this nation called again? Just so you know, Croatia walk away with 3 points clear, 3 points clear from that match. This is the update as regards the matches played yesterday. We are walking into the round of, I call them the Big 32. From there, we'll bring you other updates as it proceeds.
All right, thank you, Godwin. Let's quickly take a look at the message for the day, which is tagged "The Secrets to Success in the Ministry." And this is coming from none other than one of our own, one of Anglican's finest, the Most Reverend Timothy Yahaya. Please, let's watch this video together.
I'm confident of this, that the prayer of every minister of the gospel and every child of God is to succeed in life and in ministry. One of the difficult things to manage a life and in ministry is success. Very difficult to manage success in life. And why do I say so? Because if you look at from the text we read in Acts chapter 6 verse 1, Bible says, when the number of the disciples increased in leaps and bounds, according to another version, when the number of the disciples multiplied, which is success to me, the next thing that happened, that murmuring and complaint entered into that church. You can imagine church full of the Holy Ghost, born on the Pentecost day, but murmuring entered and complaint entered into the church. Not only that, the apostle abandoned their real calling of preaching, and they started serving tables. And that is the major problem with success in ministry today. The moment we begin to succeed in life and ministry, the next thing that will happen is that we neglect preaching, our main calling, and prayers. Remember those days when you started as a catechist, that we have changed the name to evangelist now. As a young catechist, we pray and fast always, even twice in a week, even more than that. But now you are already a canon. You are a venerable, a bishop, archbishop. I don't know how often do you pray. That's the problem with success in the ministry, because many of us have arrived. And then we begin to measure success in ministry by the size of our congregation or how many churches we have in our dioceses. We measure our ministry or success by the size of our cathedrals, by the millions and billions of money in our accounts. And some measure success in ministry by the executive cars they drive. Some by the mansions they have in Abuja, mansions in Lagos or London or Dubai. Some measure their success in government, and then the titles they have, or the human connection they have. Once they call Abuja, they will hear them. All these things are not bad in themselves. Please don't misquote me. What then is success in life and ministry? For us to succeed in life and ministry, Our ministry must be approved by God Himself. That is number one key. People of God, the question we need to ask ourselves is today, is God pleased with our ministries? Is God pleased the way how we handle our homes? Even we who are men of God. Number two, we must be faithful in the ministry. 1 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 1 and 2, Bible said that what is required of a steward, that one should be faithful. From the text, the hallmark to success life and ministry, faithful in all things, all. Faithful in preaching the word of God. The way you have been preaching years back, do you maintain the same tempo today? When you have politicians in your diocese, some of us would have had some change the theme of their sermon immediately. You see a governor around or all these senators and big men in their churches. Are we faithful in handling church money and finances? Many of us are lacking in that. When we have the money, we embezzle that money. Remember, it's not your own money, it's church money. Are we faithful in managing our homes for Christ? Remember, our homes, our families are number one parishioners we have to handle before we handle the church of God. Paul makes it clear that whoever is called to be a pastor must know how to handle his home. Unfortunately, our homes, we are not getting it right. Number three, our ministry must be productive and impactful. In other words, how many lives do you touch and transform for Christ? Number five, our ministries must be rooted in hard work, dedication, and commitment. In Proverbs 22, verse 29, I know there are many of us who are working hard. The Lord said, we must work over you that said, while it is day, for the night coming that no man should walk. I pray your motto should be walk, walk, and walk. May your life be rooted in our word, dedication, and commitment in the name of Jesus.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, you heard it there. The Secret to Success in Ministry by the Most Reverend Marcos. I beg your pardon. Earlier I said Timothy Yahaya. That is Most Reverend Ibrahim Marcos. And he actually pointed out a whole lot of vital things. How to, maintain success. The key to actually having good success in the ministry. He talked about some people when to them they see success in ministry as maybe when they've arrived, they have big houses in London, in Dubai, in Abuja, and all of that. Some is by their pockets, their bank accounts. Some is by the human capacity they have. When you call politicians, they know them. To some, that is their measure of success. But what is your own measure of success? What is the secret to your own success? Chinedu, can you just talk to our viewers what resonated most with you all through what he said?
A whole lot of things came to mind. I said this is not just for ministers, this is just for everybody. Leaders, what do you do when you get to that position? As individual, there's this saying that you know the true ability or true test of a man when you hand over a huge amount of money. If I have like 10 billion naira in my account, will I still be sitting here with Godwin? Will I still be sitting here with Promise? I'm sure I will be riding Lexus and nobody can come near me. And so the secret to success it's a very wonderful message, not just for ministers, even to you and I. But if you ask me the secret to success is having God directing and piloting your life. He will help you and he will even make you to have more than these things that he has listed out.
I love that. I love the part you talked about money. But Gordon, I think it's not just money. Power. Have you gone to some offices and then not just even inside the offices, from the security posts? You see the security man flaunting his muscles.
Yes.
Because he's been put in a Position.
That's
Godwin, what
authority.
resonated most with you? I know our time is fast, but we need to go.
All right. Thank you so much. For me, I would say, oftentimes when God has taken us to a particular level, we tend to forget where we're coming from. Forget, and it casts our mind back to that. When we understand our source, we would know that the level we're operating is is as a result of the nourishment from the source. Not like Chinedu said, not just for ministers, but for every one of us. So for me, the message is apt, and it calls us to the fact that however we think we have risen to, we should understand how far God has carried us from the beginning.
Yeah, thank you very much, Godwin. Viewers, well, you heard it. Always know your roots, and no matter how much you think you've acquired, no matter your intelligence, no matter whatever you have, just remember that there's someone who had it all but remained humble. I'm talking of our Lord Jesus Christ. He had everything at his disposal, but he was humble to even die the death on the cross. So I encourage you viewers out there to remain humble. Remember where you picked from, remember where you are, and don't look down on anyone. Well, let me hand over to Chinedu for the next segment.
Viewers, with that, we want to look at the weather update for today. We want to see what weather it's like and how you're going to go about your day today.
Welcome to the ACNN Global Weather Forecast for Wednesday, June 24th, 2026. Thunderstorms continue across much of West Africa, bringing heavy rainfall and active electrical systems to the coastal regions. While North Africa remains dry and sunny under a stable high-pressure ridge, East Africa experiences intermittent showers throughout the day. Southern Europe remains warm and sunny, with temperatures across the Mediterranean reaching seasonal highs. Europe experiences a mix of sunshine and occasional showers, with cooler temperatures prevailing across the northern regions. Monsoon weather remains active across South and Southeast Asia, bringing widespread rainfall and thunderstorms to the region. North America remains warm today, though isolated thunderstorms are developing in several regions across the east and south. South America continues to receive significant rainfall across the tropical regions, sustaining the peak moisture levels in the Amazon basin. In Nigeria, rainfall and thunderstorms remain active across southern and central regions as moist air continues to move inland. The northern regions remain warmer and less active, though some cloud cover persists throughout the afternoon. Our global summary indicates a highly active seasonal pattern, with tropical moisture being the primary driver of today's systems. Oceanic temperatures remain above average in the equatorial Pacific, contributing to the enhanced moisture patterns we're seeing. Prevailing wind patterns are driving these systems, with the polar jet stream influencing weather across Europe and North America. Local temperatures in Nigeria will hit 27 degrees in Lagos, 31 in Abuja, and up to 36 degrees in Kano. Thank you for watching ACNN Global Weather. Have a productive Wednesday.
Thank you so much for that wonderful update on the weather. And from the look of things, this period is a period of cold and rain. And so viewers, please do well to cover yourself, do well to make sure that grasses are being cut to avoid mosquitoes and, malaria and what have you. And we want to look at the Bible reading for today. And today's Bible reading is taken from Romans chapter 4, from verse 13 to the end. So stay with us.
Our Bible reading for today na from Romans 4:13 go reach the end. This na the letter when Apostle Paul write give the church for Rome, those wey believe in Baba God. I go begin my reading from verse 13. When God promised Abraham and him children say dem go inherit the whole world, him do am no be because Abraham dey obey the law, but because him believe God and God see am as righteous person. If God promise na for only those wey dey obey the law, then faith no mean anything and God promise go dey useless. The law dey bring God vexation, because where sin no dey, law no go dey. Na dis one make God promise dey come by faith and we dey get am through favour. No be only people wey dey obey the law be Abraham children, but people wey believe God like Abraham na him children dem be too, because na Abraham be our spiritual papa. God word say, I don make you papa for many nations. So for God eye, Abraham na our papa because him get faith for God wey get power to raise people wey don die and to command things wey no dey before like say dem dey. Even when things hard, Abraham still believe God and he hope say God go do am. Even when e be like say nothing go happen, but now e don become papa for many nations. Just as God tell am, your children go many like the stars wey dey heaven. Abraham no complain for one day, even when he don old nearly reach 100 years, even though he know say him body don nearly die and him wife Sarah no go fit born again. He no doubt God promise. Him faith make am strong and him thank God for everything. E dey sure say God go do wetin him promise. Na dis make God call am righteous person. Even though God call am righteous person, him talk dis word because of only Abraham? No, him talk am for we too, wey God go still accept as righteous people, we wey believe say God raise Jesus Christ from death. Na our sin make God give Jesus Christ to dem, make dem kill am and God raise am from death so that him go make us righteous people.
So viewers, you've heard the Bible reading in Pidgin telling us about faith and what God has done for us. I'll give over to Godwin. Godwin, can you?
All right, thank you so much, Chinedu. Our viewers, we want to say a very big thank you. You stayed 2 hours with us on the show, and I trust it has been severely impactful on all of the issues that we have discussed with you this morning. And I must say a very big thank you to our virtual guest who joined us from the start to when we went to the last 2 segments of the show, in person of Honorable Sylvester Amone, who is a politician, and he joined us virtually and brought to light most of the issues on the front burner of our discussion this morning. And then to my very beautiful co-anchors, person of Chinedu Blessing.
Thank you for having me.
And I promise.
Thank you, Godwin.
Thank you so much for being part of the show. Our viewers, this would be the size of our package on the show today on ACNN. We want to say thank you again for staying with us. And we want to encourage you to know that you can get more of our programs via our various social media platforms and also by staying tuned to this station. So we'll come your way again with other interesting topic. Same time, same station tomorrow. Tomorrow, I tell you, will be our sports special. Do have yourselves a great day ahead. I am Godwin Ojire, and bye for now.